Hey there, are you still confused with this breaker block concept? Are you still struggling to find where to engage, when to engage, where to put your stop loss, where to take partial, where to put your take profit? If so, don't worry, today I will take you deep into this macro with breaker block concept, and we will talk a lot more about with a lot of examples in this video. So let's dive into our today's video and let's go. So let's talk a little bit deep about the structure of a breaker block. In my last breaker block video, I showed you a basic structure of breaker block, but today I will take you guys deep into the breaker block concept. So in a breaker block, we know that price will have to go through an old higher high, but at the same time, price will also have to hit a premium PT area. This swing high that will be here, this is our premium PT area, or there can be another premium PT area, right? Suppose a fair value gap, or suppose order block. It can be above the swing high, but there will must have to be a swing high or a higher high or an old higher high that price will have to go through and generate a new higher high, right? That's the first rule of our breaker block to get valid. uh, and then once price comes down and goes below the breaker block, we can engage at the second candle, and we can also engage once price retraces like this, and we can take a second entry. Don't worry, I will go take you through examples and I'll show you how to pyramid your entry when you are taking a setup with a breaker block. And what can we target in a breaker block setup? Right, in a breaker block setup, you will see price leaving equal high or equal low. I'm showing this in a bearish example, but when I take you through live example, you will see that every time there's a breaker block setup, every time there will be equal high or equal low. Price leaves these equal high and equal low so that you can target that, right? So there are some rules to follow too. The first rule that comes here is the time. We look for setup in 4 times in a day in our macro zone, 8:20 to 8:30, right? That's our first macro. And then we look for the same setup repeating at 9:20 to 9:30, and then we look for the same setup at 9:50 to 10:10, and then we look for the same setup repeating again at 11:50 to 12:10 in our PM session macro. So today I will take you guys through examples in all of these macros, and I hope you will find it helpful. So let's go. So guys, let's dive into our first example. What do you see here? We have equal high here, and we also have equal lows here, and we are inside of our macro zone, right? Our first macro starts from 8:20 and it lasts till 8:35. We look for a setup till 8:35. After that, price manipulates, and we do not look for any setup until 9:20. So let's see where price delivers first. Suppose price is delivering towards the sell side, then we will target the buy side. So let's see what price does. So what do you see here? Price delivered buy side liquidity first and cleared equal highs, right? These are relatively equal highs, and price chose to deliver to this liquidity point first. And this stop hunt that you see price did here, it's in a premium zone. Why? This swing high that you see right here, it's in a premium zone, so that this becomes a premium PD array. So where is our breaker block? Do you see our breaker block here? Yes, these last down close candles that you see here, that's our breaker block. So I will only mark the bodies, not the candles wick. Why? Because a candle's body is where most of the liquidity is. A candle's wick, it does the damage, it does the manipulation. So we focus in the candle's bodies. So let's see if price closes a candle's body below the breaker block and matches with our second rule. As soon as the next candle opens, you can engage at the marketplace and you can take a partial in this discount PD area, and you can target for 2R. So we take a partial in the nearest liquidity pool because we have to keep in mind that price can reverse from any level, right? So if price is paying me, I should pay me first, right? So suppose I'm engaging at this trade at the second candle and my stop loss would be above the breaker block and I'm targeting 2R. So let's see if price gives me that. So this here is in a replay mode, and if you are trading live, you will have enough time to execute in between the times this candle opens and moves towards the downside. So you can take a partial once price moves to this discount PD array. Why is it a discount PD array? Because this swing low comes in a discount zone, right? So suppose you are not engaging in the second candle, right? You did not got a chance to engage at the second candle. You are engaging at the third candle. And suppose you are putting your stop loss above the midway or in the midway of this breaker block, right? And you are targeting 2R. Let's see if price can give us 2R from that position too. Price did clearly gave us 2R. So let's dive into our second example. It's the same day, it's 15th March 2023 on US 31-minute chart, and I showed you the first example here. Do you guys remember this was our breaker block and price did present us a clean setup at 8:20 to 8:30. That was our first macro, right? So what do you see here? Price took a major level of sell side liquidity here, and price is now in a discount PD area, right? And price did a stop hunt here again after taking out this major level of sell side liquidity. So you can understand that price is now efficient towards the sell side. After that, it delivered efficiently buy side liquidity, right? And if you come a little bit closer, we do have relatively equal high above us, right? So that's a relative equal high, and that goes with our model, right? The model that I showed you guys at the beginning of our presentation, it goes with our model. We look for equal high and equal low when we are engaging in it with a breaker block trade, right? So let's see what price does. And where is our breaker block? Do you see a breaker block here after this stop hunt? Yes, this last up close candles that you see right here, these becomes our breaker block. So let me mark that out for you. And what do you see here? Price already getting support from this breaker block before even our macro zone started, right? Our macro is at 9:20 to 9:35, and now the time is 9:13. So we are not engaging. If you are experienced enough and suppose you took a lot of trades with this breaker block concept, you will be able to understand and you will be able to know when to engage and how to engage, and you will be able to engage after price gives you strong confirmation like this before the macro zone starts. But you should not engage before the macro zone starts if you are new, if you have less experience, and if you are fighting with impatience in your trading style. This setup will build the patience that you are lacking. And once you become experienced enough, this setup will also give you wisdom to take trades in other times. These are my personal model: 9:20 to 9:35, then 8:20 to 8:35. Maybe you will have your own model. Maybe you will find that in your pair price repeats in other times. Price repeats this setup in different zones, right? So you will be able to create your own model. Just give it some time with patience, and it will pay you very good in the future. So let's see what price does, and if price presents us any other confirmation that we can take this trade from any other PD area. We can already see that price is strongly getting rejected from this breaker block, right? Price rejected from here once, twice, and also a third time. It showed willingness to go towards the upside. So let's see, once we are inside of our macro zone, we will start looking for a setup. So we are now inside of a inside of our macro zone. And what do you see price doing here? Price is repeatedly respecting order block, right? This black candle, down close candle that you see right here, that's the order block. And what do you see price doing right here? These last down close candles that you see, that's the order block, and price respecting these order blocks, right? So we can expect to see price respecting other order blocks, and we can engage with a order block this time after getting confirmation from this breaker block, right? So price did hit this breaker block again, so I'm gonna engage at the second candle, and I'm gonna wait and see how the second candle here opens it. Yes, price got the support again from this bullish order block, so I'm gonna engage and I'm gonna press the buy button. So let's see what price does. So you can see the price moved aggressively when the volatility came in. We know that volatility in price comes in at 9:30 because at that time New York session opens. So you can see that it's not only a breaker block, it was not only a breaker block confirmation trade. There was a confirmation from this breaker block at first, right? Price did presented to us a breaker block in between this time when I tell you to look for. And what do you see? We took a trade with another PD array like a order block. And how do we knew that price will respect this order block? Because price did respected this order block before in price, right? And price also delivered sell side liquidity quite efficiently, and it was inefficient in buy side liquidity as it left a equal high. So let's dive into our third example, and the third example is in the same day, 15th March 2023 again. And now this time, see that price is respecting our 920 to 930 breaker block again at 1050 to 1110 macro. That's the ICT approved macro. So let's see what price does. We look for a stop hunt and a candle's body closure above breaker block in between this time, right? 1050 to 1110. We look for this setup happening in our macro zone. So that's the breaker block. And what do you see here? We are inside of our macro zone, right? Price did a stop hunt inside of this breaker block. Do you see it? Yes, right here. So where is our breaker block? These last up close candles that you see, that becomes our breaker block. Right? So let me mark that for you. And now let's wait and see if price closes a candle's body above the breaker block. And do we have a target? Yes, we have relative equal highs right here, right? And we know that when price generates and leaves relative equal high, it works as strong level of liquidity. And where can we take a partial? In this trade, price is offering to us a partial. So when price does that, we will pay ourselves first and we will not be greedy, right? So our breaker block is right here. So let's see if price does actually closes a candle's body above the breaker block. So did price close the candle's body above the breaker block yet? No, so we will wait for a candle's body closure above the breaker block. Let's see if price does that. Yes, price did close the candle's body above the breaker block. So by rule, we can engage at the second candle, right? So let's see what price does in the second candle. So price did open a second candle bullish. So we will buy in this candle. Remember that I'm in a replay mode. You will have enough chance to buy when these candles opens. So you can take a partial right here, and we are targeting this relative equal high ultimately, right? So let's see if price offers us uh, this buy side liquidity. Price just retraced back to a fair value gap, right? That's a fair value gap right here, and if I mark it for you, you'll be able to see it. That's a fair value gap, right? So if you are like confident enough, you can engage here too in this candle when price gets rejected from that, or you can engage at the second candle and our target will be initially the same. So price did took orders from another fair value gap right here, right? So you can pyramid in your trade like this. So price did tapped into a premium, our premium PDR, right? So we can close our trade there, and that's a very good profit. So you can see that, like, if you mix this concept with other concept like fair value gap, suppose order block, suppose if you can see this chart differently too. We can see a order block here, right? So you can engage once price closes a candle's body above this order block, right? You can engage again and pyramid in your entry once price closes a candle's body here and target this buy side liquidity. So that was our third example. I hope you understood it. Price, do you see the correlation between the macros? Yes, price does respect other macros when those macros are a strong level of liquidity. Like here, you can see here price did actually respected 920 to 930 breaker block, right? And I showed you that price does present a setup with this breaker block concept, and if you mix this concept with other concept like fair value gap, order block, or other stuff, you will be able to generate huge amount of profit. But always remember that if you become greedy, you won't make it. So let's dive into our fourth example, and our fourth example will be in PM session macro. Our PM session macro starts at 11:50 and it lasts till 12:10, and it's a ICT approved PM session macro. So do we have a target here? Before we engage in a trade or we look for a setup, we always have to keep in mind that if we don't have a clean target, you cannot or you should not engage in that target because you don't have a clean target. Once you have a clean target that goes with our structure, then you can engage with confidence. And what do you see here? We have relatively equal lows right here, right? So we can target these relative equal lows as it's a strong level of liquidity, and as price likes to come back to these levels and take it out. So inside of our macro zone, we look for what? We look for a stop hunt and then a candle's body closure below the breaker block, and then we engage, right? So do you see price doing a stop hunt here? Yes, and it did actually took the order from a fair value gap, which is in a premium. If you put your Fibonacci and if you measure this fractal of price action, right, this fair value gap that you see here, it will come in a premium zone. So let's see if price closes a candle's body below the breaker block here. And do you see the breaker block here? Yes, these last down close candles that you see here, that's our breaker block. And if you wanna be a little bit more cautious, a little bit more safe, then you can mark these down close candles right here, and you can wait for a candle's body closure below this breaker block, and you can, after that, you can take a safe entry. So let's see if price is closing a candle's body below our first breaker block. Yes, price did actually close the candle's body below our first uh, breaker block, but I won't take it as entry because that's an aggressive entry, right? To take this kind of entry, it requires experience, and if you don't have that, if you are not confident enough to take this trade, just don't take it. Wait for a little bit more confirmation and then engage. Always remember that a setup will always be in front of you. I'm showing these examples to you at the same day, right? It's 15 March 2023, same pair US 30. You can go ahead and check on your own and do back testing on this concept. So let's see if price closes the candle's body below the breaker block here. Yes, it did actually close the candle's body below the breaker block. So what our rule tells us, we can engage at the second candle, right? So I can engage here and I can target what? I can target these relatively equal lows that I showed you guys here. So I will close the trade once price goes below that. So let's see now if price is respecting this breaker block. Where can be our stop loss? Our stop loss can be above the breaker block. So price did came back to our breaker block again, and when it does something like this, you should wait and see if price is closing its next candle with getting rejected from this breaker block. If it does not do that, and suppose it's moving aggressively towards the buy side and is going above the midway of this breaker block, you should close your trade. So what do you see? It's a bearish candle, right? And price did show to us that it wanna move towards the downside, right? So we can engage again at the second candle, and our target will remain the same, the sell side liquidity here. And what do you see here? Price moved aggressively towards the sell side liquidity, right? And price did actually hit our TP here, right here. So I will close the trade here. I do live stream quite often, and I do look for this setup in live with my subscribers, so you can come and watch me, or you can check out my other breaker block video or my live trading session. And that would be it for today. I will catch you guys in my next video. Till then, take care.